Welcome to Movie House Cinemas. Popcorn? Yes, please. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the movie. Reclining chairs? Don't mind if I do. Action, thriller, romance, we got it all. Discover the cinema today. Movie House Cinemas, home of the movies.
Good evening, and welcome along to Rob and Elliott tonight. It's a special show. We're here at the Malmaison Hotel in Belfast, and this week we're supporting the Macmillan Cancer Support's annual Coffee Morning Appeal. And joining us for coffee on the show will be top comedian and everybody's favourite dad, Tim McGarry is going to be with us. We'll have some live music in the studio from the dangerous harpist, Ursula. Also live music from singer-songwriter Niamh Murray, and we'll find out about this year's Belfast International Arts Festival with Richard Wakely. But as always, we begin the show every week by taking a look back at some of the more crazy news stories of the week. To help us do that, as always, broadcaster and journalist Kim Kelly is with us. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm great. This is a great setup, isn't it?
Wonderful.
It's like a Big Brother house or something.
I feel very posh.
Do you?
I do. I feel nice here. This is more me, isn't it?
It's more you. It is really, isn't it? Yeah. You're going to save us some money now, aren't you?
I am. Do you know that you can save £80 a week if you bring your own lunch to work? Do you bring your lunch? You don't? I do. You see, I do. I am Mrs. Pack Lunch. I always get out my little packed lunch. I'm quite thrifty.
But how do you have time to do all this? Because you're a busy, busy woman.
It's the Presbyterian upbringing. That's what it is. There's a tightness in me that would, think, oh, I'm not going to waste that food. And I would have the wee packed lunches, the wee Tupperwares. Always bring a packed lunch. You'll always see me with carrying a wee lunch bag. It's because I'm tight, basically.
Yes, yeah.
So apparently you will save £80 a month if you do this, which I, of course, know. And the same survey showed off the favourite sandwiches in the UK at the minute. Do you want to know what they are?
I would love to know what they are.
Okay, in third place, chicken. Chicken's quite expensive.
Just chicken?
Mm-hmm. Chicken, yeah. I think it was chicken salad. Second place, ham.
Right.
Ham's nice, a bit plain. First place, egg and onion.
I love an egg and onion sandwich.
Me too, but not at school. Not at school, or not like in work.
You wouldn't take it into work and stick
Somebody in my work brought in an egg sandwich, you shall remain nameless, recently.
Nearly as bad as that, people who bring tuna.
Oh, why do people do that?
On a hot day and somebody has tuna.
There's always somebody who brings in fish. Like, I don't know if you work in offices. There's always some person who hogs that microwave with fish. What are they thinking?
I know.
What are they thinking?
Yeah.
Don't do it. Or some like real spicy old curry. Or you're like, have a bit of decorum.
Yeah.
A bit of lunchtime decorum.
Yeah.
No egg and onion sandwiches, people. That's for funeral teas and home.
So what's your sandwiches then when you go to work?
I don't often bring a sandwich. I would bring a salad.
Oh.
I like to bring a sort of salady type thing, like a chickpea sort of salad with a bit of feta,
right,
tomatoes and cucumber. That's my go-to salad. But sometimes then it splits and it leaks over the bottom of my bag, which is quite unpleasant. So, but it does save me £80.
It does.
And whenever you're from Northampton, that's a thing.
Okay, there we go. Today's money-saving tips brought to you by Kim Kelly. Right, one final story. We're off to the railways, aren't we?
We are, and the worst excuse ever for a late train. Like here, they don't even bother making excuses because the train
doesn't show up.
Do we even have trains? I don't know.
We do have trains.
We have a lovely train station.
But you can't get a train to Dublin at the minute.
Doesn't matter. We have a lovely train station, and that's the most important thing. We don't need trains. You can just walk. Anyway, in England, the Gatwick Express was cancelled last week because of, wait for it, 2 squirrels. Now, squirrels are nice little things. Okay, they are kind of rats with fluffy tails. However, they got on at one of the platforms, climbed on the train, and they were sitting eating their nuts or doing, I don't know what the squirrels do, like that thing. That was my impression of the squirrels. Do you like it? Okay, so they were sitting squirreling, and people were freaking out. Like, I would actually have liked to share my journey with a couple of squirrels, but no, people were freaking out, trying to get them off with a broom and they wouldn't get off. They wouldn't get off the train, so they had to cancel the train.
There you go.
So that's probably the worst excuse.
Probably the worst excuse, but a great story.
A nutty tale.
A nutty tale. Brilliant. Kim Kelly, thank you so much. See you next week. Okay, time for some live music, and Ursula Burns has got a brand new album out. It's called The Secret Melody of Trees, and she's standing by to play a live track from this very album. Here she is, the dangerous harpist. It's Ursula Burns. Great track from the new album from Ursula Burns. We'll chat to her a little bit later on. But standing by, we've got one of our favourite comedians, everybody's favourite Da, and the tallest man in comedy. He's back out on the road with a brand new stand-up tour, and we'll chat to Tim McGarry right after these.
Heading to the North Coast, the Jet Centre in Coleraine offers entertainment for everyone. There's an 8-screen movie house cinema with all the best movies, 10-pin bowling, a massive arcade, soft play for the wee ones. Outdoors, there's a mini fun park and gem mining, plus an 18-hole floodlit mini golf course. Rain or shine, there's something for everyone here at the Jet Centre. Find out more at thejetcentre.co.uk.
And welcome back to Rob and Elliott tonight from the Malmaison Hotel here in Belfast. My next guest is one of Northern Ireland's top comedians. In fact, he is the tallest man in Northern Ireland showbiz, and of course everybody's favourite Da as well. It's Tim McGarry. How are you, sir?
The tallest comedian, that's the best compliment you could give me. You could go for funniest, but don't you went for height. I'm going to accept it because it's you, Robin.
Yes.
I have to say I've been on your show a few times.
You have.
The circumstances, the surroundings have improved considerably.
It's like being in the Big Brother house or something, isn't it?
Lovely. You can get a cup of coffee now.
Exactly. Would you ever go in the Big Brother house?
Absolutely no. Under no circumstances whatsoever would I ever let myself be filmed for 24 hours. No.
What about the jungle?
Oh, God, no.
No?
Oh, I would hate that.
Would
well,
you?
hang on, tell me about the check again. What did
Well, that's the thing.
Nigel Farage got about £500,000
Yeah.
for eating kangaroo testicles.
Yeah.
And I did it. I said, you know, a lot of people say you shouldn't have politicians on. Shouldn't have politicians on. I'm a celebrity. I said, well, wouldn't it make? I think we should have our MLAs on. I'm a celebrity.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it make a nice change for us to see our politicians putting testicles into their mouth rather than? Anyway, sorry. I suddenly realised that joke's too rude.
We're going on after 9 o'clock, it's fine.
It goes better live. We're on it.
Talking about our MLAs and stuff, I came to see the last Give My Headpiece show, and you give like Michelle O'Neill and Mary Lou got some abuse during that show.
Did I?
You did.
You see, Robert, I kind of have a grudging respect for our politicians in that they very kindly have put my children through university.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah.
I've been doing comedy a long time now, and people say, "Oh, Northern Ireland comedy, it's getting boring." But our politicians, they never disappoint. They always give you a joke. They always give you a story, no matter what it is. I mean, we've Stormont has been out of action for 5 out of the last 7 years, and they still manage to amuse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tell jokes about our politicians, and I tell jokes about politics. I always have done, you know. Mainly that's my shtick, is kind of Northern Ireland politics.
But there must be times when you come face to face with those politicians. Yes. How do they take it?
Well, most of them take it well.
Yeah.
The early phase of Give Me Headpiece, there was some rumblings about people going, "Oh, this is a bit tasteless, and we can't talk about the troubles and this, that, and the other." But in fact, it was so popular that politicians went, "Actually, you know what?
Yes, yeah, yeah."
And funny, that's what my stand-up show is about. Is my it's called Ridiculous. My father used to say the trouble with this country was people took themselves far too seriously, and we need to have a sense of our own ridiculousness. And I think that's right. We were talking earlier on about things have vastly improved in this country. Most people go, the political situation, sectarianism is utterly ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's stupid, it's pointless, it's a waste of everybody's time and effort. So let's have a laugh at it and let's ridicule it. So that's the kind of approach I'm taking. But we've come on a long way. So I like to just say, come on, let's have a laugh at the stupid things in life.
Exactly. So you're back out on tour, and this I think is the first proper one in 8 years, isn't it?
Yeah, 8 years. I've done bits and pieces. I do after dinner speeches. The last time I saw you was at the Spirit of Northern Ireland Awards. Do you remember that?
Love it. I love that night.
Yeah, I did a wee turn at that, and I've been doing the thing about it. Even in the last 8 years, the number of comedians in Northern Ireland and the number of venues in Northern Ireland has simply exploded.
Where did all this come from? Because these guys are like filling out the SSE Arena a week at the Grand. I'm going to see Kieran Bartlett tonight as well. I mean, these guys are filling venues.
Well, it's absolutely. I mean, part of me is horribly jealous, but it genuinely the likes of Shane Todd and Colin Geddes and Mickey Bartlett and stuff. But to be fair to them, they've all been very, very friendly with me. I've done gigs with them. Do you know what they've done? They've ploughed their own furrow. They've gone. They don't need TV.
Yeah.
They do the internet. Their podcast is massively successful. Nobody to tell them who or what to do. They can put videos out online all the time, and they've built up their own audience. So fair play to them. And all the guys, I have to say, genuinely, I've done loads of gigs with them, really, because there's so many comedy clubs around the area that I've done loads of gigs with, and they've encouraged me. They're the ones saying to me, "You should do a full time," because I've done loads of clubs and done half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yes,
said, "You've got a guts of a show here. Go and do a full show."
Yeah.
So that's when I finally decided, I can turn 40 minutes into 70 minutes.
Exactly, yeah. Well, as somebody who's been around the scene, right, who's your favourite of the young guys then?
Well, that's difficult to say because we have a new podcast, just started Give Me Headpiece podcast, and Shane, very kindly, Shane Todd did the first one. It was brilliant. If I'm honest...
Go on.
Mickey Bartlett, I have a soft spot for Mickey. Mickey is very, very funny. He can be a little rude, ladies and gentlemen. Some of his topics are not for ladies who don't like bad words.
Yes,
but I think he's really, really clever. He's very clever. But there's so many of them.
Yeah.
There's a guy who's going to be doing some warm up for me called Johnny Bow, a one-liner.
Oh, I know Johnny Bow. He was my cameraman years ago. Yes. He's my cameraman, and he sells suits at Bogart as well.
He's brilliant.
He is good.
There's a guy, Terry McHugh, who's opened for me.
Love Terry, yes.
Terry is a lovely guy. And there's so many of them. Genuinely, there's so many. Like I said, Bartlett's, there's Kieran Bartlett, there's Mickey Bartlett, Shane, William Thompson. I did a roast for William Thompson round in the Black Box there a few weeks ago when there were 8 comedians on stage, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know who he is. But there are so many new comedians out there, and it's great to see. And to be fair to Shane and Colin, they kind of built this up from nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
These guys, you could now become a full-time comedian in Northern Ireland virtually doing gigs.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody would know you from the TV or whatever, which is great.
Yeah. Let's talk about Ridiculous, the tour. Yes. So what kind of things can we expect from the tour? 70 minutes of stand-up, but what's happening?
Well, I'm talking about things that make... it's kind of partly a tribute to my dad as well, because a weird thing happened. My father died a long time ago. He died in 1991. But the internet being the internet, a fella contacted me on Facebook and said, "I have a DVD of your dad doing a concert. My father was a surgeon in the Mater Hospital.
Yeah.
He was quite a serious guy.
Yeah.
A lot of serious things happening in life, and he was a very busy man during the Troubles, like that. He wasn't out of work. But the doctors and the nurses and the consultants used to do an end of year sort of concert.
Right.
And they would get people singing songs and playing the piano and reading poems.
Yeah.
And my dad gets up in the middle of it. Does firstly a stand-up set.
Really? So this is where your stand-up came from?
And I go. I knew he was a funny guy.
Yeah.
He told funny stories, but I'd never seen this before.
Yeah.
And he'd doing a 20-minute stand-up, and he told about 4 or 5, and his pace was superb. His delivery was wonderful. And I go, that's right. I knew he was, and I knew he'd got a sense of humour from him. I knew that sense of ridiculousness, but I'd never seen him actually perform.
Yeah.
In front of 150 people, and I went, and that was kind of the inspiration to go on, Tim, go back out and do it.
Yeah.
Do it, and and then. Funny, we were just talking about the title of the show came from his favourite saying, was always have a sense of your own ridiculousness.
Wow.
So I'm talking a bit about my dad.
Yeah.
I'm talking about hitting the big 6-0 myself this year. So talking a bit about that. I did a DNA test recently. So I'm talking about who I am, where I come from, and all of that.
Oh, brilliant.
The big reveal about the most famous people in my family. Bit disappointing, no high kings. Genuinely, a couple of fellas who got drunk and one of them died, and one of them. Anyway, it's a long story. But the Egypts. No high kings, no astronauts, no superstars. Talking a bit about that. Talking a bit about being slightly famous in Northern Ireland and how it waxes.
You're not slightly famous, well, Tim. You are very famous in Northern Ireland.
Not really. I mean, a level of fame, as I say, is somewhere between.
You got an invite to the Ivy opening the other night. I didn't, so you're very famous. No, I didn't get one. I didn't get an invite.
Wait, Robin Elliott did not get an invite.
Did not get an invite to the Ivy, no.
Right, stop the interview. We're going to speak to some people. This is absolutely ridiculous. Robin Elliott didn't get an invite.
True story, yeah. Yeah?
Right, I'll speak to some people.
You need to do that, yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of it's a very localised fame, which is nice.
Yeah.
You know, I once got asked for an autograph in England. That's only because somebody thought it was Jeremy Corbyn's dad.
And you get fed up with people calling you Da all the time as well.
Well, no, I don't mind that. I mean, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll probably be on my headstone. You know.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
You can't. I mean, people are all very kind.
Yeah.
Northern Ireland people who don't like you will tell you that they don't like you.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
99% of people are very nice and very. And as I say, I started this show. I was kind of nervous starting this show, and I did it last night. On Friday night for the first time ever, and I'm just kind of going. I'm kind of coming down, going, oh,
yes,
got a show.
Yes,
I can come on, Robin Elliott.
Yeah.
Listen, this show, please come. It's not going to be any good. I'm delighted with it.
Good.
It's genuinely 70 minutes of fun, and I'm really, I recommend you buy a ticket.
Okay, so what's life on the road? What's on your rider list? What does Tim McGarry have on his rider list?
Maltesers. Maltesers and 2 cans of draft Guinness.
Yeah.
I like a draft Guinness.
Yeah.
I like to bring a pint on stage.
Yes.
Partly because you can get thirsty on stage.
Exactly, yes, yeah.
Also, a slight sheet on a wee table and a bit of paper with 12 words written on it.
Right.
Because I've reduced the 70 minutes basically to 12 words. And they are very odd. It's like a comfort blanket. I very rarely look at it, but it is like, if it's not there.
Exactly, yes.
So very occasionally, you know, sometimes a joke goes very well and you go, I go, what's the next bit? What's the next bit?
Yeah.
So I can wander over and lift up the pint again. Anyway,
yes.
it's a Robin Elliott show. You'll never. So there's a bit of that. Not much because you know I drive myself. I haven't got to the point of the chauffeur-driven limousine yet. I know it's not right. I'm doing Derry. I can't remember exactly where. And then Enniskillen the next night. So I'll probably stay up and do the Playhouse in Derry, and then the Ardoin, which I love. I'm doing the Lyric.
You're doing all the theatres basically, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing the Lyric, which is lovely because we would only book one night and it's sold out, so they put on another night, Sunday the 17th of November, so I'm really delighted about, you know, and it's funny, the 16th is the Saturday night, it's actually my dad's birthday, my late father's birthday, and half the family's coming to see it.
Brilliant,
my sister's flying in from London and stuff like that, so I'm absolutely delighted. It's
excellent.
One of these nice nights.
Are we going to get any more Give My Headpiece?
The good news is, yes, we're on tour next year. But also we've got a Christmas special. The BBC have very kindly given us 2 Christmas specials, one this year and one next year.
Yeah.
So we'll still be on TV, even though people go, what was that show you used to be in? It's still on. Used to be in. You go, it's still on. People aren't watching TV as much.
They're not, no.
Things are changing. Things are changing. So the BBC are very much present for the iPlayer and stuff like that.
Yes.
And there are episodes of Give Me a Headpiece on the iPlayer, and actually some of the older ones are going to go on the iPlayer.
Brilliant.
But we're doing a Christmas special this year, a Christmas special next year. We're doing the tour next March. We're all over the place as usual with the live show. Still putting poor Olivia Nash out to work at 82 years old.
She's brilliant still. She's amazing. I love her. Yeah.
She's a national treasure.
She is.
But
she is a national treasure. She is.
A national treasure. Yeah. She's brilliant on the tour, and we love her.
And the punters love the Blame Game as well. Is that coming back?
But the Blame Game's coming back at the end of November for a 5-week run. So delighted about that. Really love doing the Blame Game. It's one of the nicest and easiest gigs to do. Just sitting there listening to great comedians.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky.
So with all those gigs, I mean, you're now the richest man in Northern Ireland showbiz, I would imagine as well.
Have you worked for the BBC? No, I'm not the richest man.
And if the BBC are watching, Criminal Records has to come back.
Yes, you mentioned that.
I love it.
I'm definitely going to, because you reminded me, to be fair to them, they asked me to bring it back. I've been doing so much. Criminal Records is the show I do where I bring guests on and we talk about not what music they like, but the worst music, the music that they absolutely hate.
And he still hasn't had me on.
I will have you on. I'll have you on because I like people who like music, know exactly what they like and know exactly what they hate. So the music you have playing, in the middle of your messy divorce, the music playing if you wanted your funeral, the music that tortured you as a child, and it went really, really well. It was a nice wee format, and we just need to bring it back.
Yeah, brilliant, Tim.
I'll have you on.
Thank you, Tim. Good to see you as always. The Ridiculous Tour lasts, I think, until November sometime, doesn't it?
Into the middle of December, all over. Just Google Tim McGarry Ridiculous, and all the dates will come up. Or David Hall Promotions.
Yeah, brilliant. Good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like him.
Right, time for some more live music here at the Malmaison Hotel, and good to see singer-songwriter Niamh Murray back with a brand new single. It's called Don't You Worry Love, and here she is performing live for us. New music from Niamh Murray. Still to come, we'll be chatting to the dangerous harpist, Ursula Burns, and we'll find out all about this year's Belfast International Arts Festival. We'll also be talking to the guys from Macmillan Cancer Support right after these.
Here we are on the north coast, where sporting legends are made. He needs this putt to advance to the next stage, but can he do it? The crowd are holding their breath. Can he cope with the pressure?
Dad, would you take the shot?
Yes! Well, and welcome back to our Robin Elliott Tonight special from the Malmaison Hotel here in Belfast. We're here for our little coffee morning today, supporting the Macmillan Cancer Support Charity, and I'm pleased to say that Maura and Christine from the charity join us now in the studio. Guys, good to see you both today. And you know, these coffee mornings for Macmillan, they're such a big and important date in the calendar for you guys, aren't they?
Yes, this week, and in particular Friday the 27th of September every year, is the highlight in Macmillan's calendar for fundraising in particular. The coffee mornings are so important to us here in Northern Ireland because they enable us to provide vital support to people living with cancer in Northern Ireland. And as we know at the minute, the statistics are stark. So it means that every penny raised is going towards supporting people living with and affected by cancer. So yes, a very important day in the calendar.
And we see just how good people in Northern Ireland are at supporting charities as well, because people from all walks of life, all businesses, communities get involved in this project, don't they?
It's amazing to see, Robin, and we can see right across the spectrum in Northern Ireland, especially now that we have social media. People can go on and see all of the events that are happening across Northern Ireland at a community level, but we also have events in, for example, constituencies, in larger organisations, and across many corporate organisations as well. So it's fantastic to see the support that is there for Macmillan.
Christine, tell us about you. How did you get involved in the charity then?
I got involved because I was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer, and I got my retirement, and I wanted to be able to do something and repay Macmillan for the support that they gave me right from the beginning of my cancer journey. So an opportunity came up to apply to the Cancer Experience panel, where we use our lived experience to actually use it effectively and sort of benefit other people who are affected by cancer by using our experiences, good and bad, to promote cancer care across the north of Ireland.
And of course, it's not just people who are diagnosed with cancer. It's important to support families and loved ones who are looking after those people, because they're living with it as well, aren't they?
Yes, very much so. It's not just the patient. It's like a stone in a pond. That's that ripple effect. You know, it affects family, friends, your colleagues, affects all aspects of life. But Macmillan are there to support the whole family, not just the patient themselves, and they provide such vital services to those affected by cancer. As I say, you know, everybody, not just the patient.
Maura, as well as the coffee mornings, I know you've got lots of other events happening. Tell us about some of those coming up.
Well, we have many, many events coming up. In particular, the work that I do with people like Christine and others in the Cancer Experience panel. We're absolutely delighted to be promoting a brand new event in early 2025, but the work starts now, doesn't it, Christine?
Very much so.
And that is to shine a light on inequality in cancer care. At the minute, there are approximately 3 million people across the UK that are living with cancer, and we know that it will affect 1 in 2 of us. But we also know from our Cancer Experience panel and others that the cancer care that people get isn't always equitable. And certain groups in society may find it more difficult, more challenging to access the same care that other people do. So together with our panel members, we have launched a brand new scheme to raise awareness about inequality in cancer care. And we have been able to fund 16 organisations with small grants to provide showcases on what this actually looks like. What does inequity look like and feel like? And more importantly, what can we do to address that? So it's about shining a light on inequality in cancer care, but it is also about getting decision makers together with us around the table and with the groups affected to see, well, what can we do about that, you know?
And of course, throughout the year as well, if people want to get involved, if they want to help fundraise, they can do that at any time throughout the year, can't they?
Yes, we would absolutely love people's support this week in particular, and anybody who's interested can go online at macmillan.org.uk/coffee morning, and they can there see what's happening in their local community. They can also, it's not too late, they can also host a coffee morning. But more than that, if people want to get involved later in the year, and many people do, there are events like mighty hikes, walks, corporate events, committee fundraising. There's so many things happening. People can go online at macmillan.org.uk and find out about those and get in touch with the team. We have a dedicated team who will support people every step of the way, and without that support, we would not be able to provide the vital services that we do at the minute.
Okay, so Maura, give us that all-important telephone number.
It's 0808 808 0000. That's 0808 808 0000.
And Christine, as somebody who's been through it yourself, somebody watching this now who's maybe just been diagnosed with cancer, I suppose the first thing to do is pick up the phone and get some help from the guys at Macmillan as well.
Yes, certainly. Pick up the phone. There's welfare advisors, there's benefit advisors, there's pension advisors. There's advisors there if you're worried about work and how maybe if you want to return to work or maybe you want to retire. There will be people there that will be at the end of the phone to be able to talk you through all those things, to support you in things that maybe when you get that initial cancer diagnosis that suddenly come to the fore that you weren't really thinking about before. So yes, definitely get in contact with Macmillan Cancer Support, visit the website, phone. There will be people there to support you on your journey.
Christine, thank you for coming along and sharing your story today, and Maura, thank you for coming in as well. Good to see you both.
Thank you so much for having us.
Right, time now to meet my next guest on the show tonight. You heard her performing live earlier on. We're going to talk about her brand new album, which is called The Secret Melodies of Trees. She's also known as the Dangerous Harpist, and I'm pleased to say Ursula Burns joins us now. How are you?
I'm very good. Nice to see you, Robin.
Good to see you. I can't believe we've been doing this show nearly 21 years now, and we've never had you on.
I know, it's unbelievable.
But I remember playing your music on the radio back in the 90s.
I know. It started in the mid-90s, so I've been going a while now. And everything has evolved and morphed. Over the years, I've done about 7 albums and composed for theatre and circus and a lot of performance work with the harp.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of breaking down the boundaries and performance So yeah, it's been quite the journey.
It has, hasn't it? So out of all the instruments in the world, why the harp?
Well, my mum plays harp.
Right.
And my grandfather was my family are more like traditional musicians, but I never wanted to follow the traditional music didn't appeal to me. I didn't formally learn. I wanted to kind of write songs and break the mold, and now I'm getting a much deeper understanding of what my journey has been with the harp. And I've been looking a lot into what got lost in harping history and how harping evolved when the point in 1600s when Queen Elizabeth I said, hang the harpers and burn their instruments.
Really?
Yeah, and Bardic harping went underground, but then for the last 10 years I called myself the dangerous harpist.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realised that like the songwriting, the performance, making it funny, making it sad, making it emotional, all the different aspects of it relate back to a really deep tradition that had gone underground.
And you've toured all over the place. I mean, I remember you were touring with Jimmy Nail at one point.
I toured with Jimmy Nail, 30 dates on the Boards tour. That was back in the 90s. He heard me on Woman's Hour.
Right.
And it was before the internet, and it took him about 6 weeks to find me. And then he said, will you come on tour with me? And I was like, yeah. So I went away off with Jimmy Nail.
And what was he like? I was always a bit scared of him.
He's very nice.
Is he?
He was very good to me, because the first day I wanted to run away, I was really upset when I come off stage. And he came on the stage after me and told the audience off. I won't say what he said, but he was very, very nice to me. You know, he convinced me to stay on that tour. So he was, I mean, he's quite an intimidating character.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
he
thought.
was very nice. So he was good to me.
Yeah. Tell us about Britain's Got Talent as well.
Oh, I hated it.
Did you?
I did hate it. Well, they asked me to do it for 4 years, and my instincts were always no, not to do it. But I finally just thought, you kind of get fed up doing the same circuit or anything. Thought, oh, you never know. And then the 4th year they asked me, they filmed me in my studio and asked me to come to play the Palladium, and that was the carrot, that was the golden carrot.
Yes.
Because I wanted to play the Palladium.
Of
So
course.
I did, and I really enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
was fantastic, but when they aired the first show, I was quite upset. And I wanted to kind of retract out of the process, but I was kind of contracted in then, and that's when it got difficult. Then I found myself doing all sorts of rubbish for the live show, and I was really upset. And so I was genuinely upset about it, but it's okay. Look, time moves on. I've got over it.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. But it was a hard few years. There was that, and then there was COVID hit, and then I bought a truck and made an outdoor venue.
And you can't miss the truck.
I can't miss the truck.
You know, it
Clyde
stands-
Truck Theatre. And then coming up on my 30-year anniversary, I decided it would be nice to make an instrumental album, because all my other work has been song-based or performance-based, but I've never actually, for the 30 years, I've kind of devised pretty much my own way of playing. That I've always played Paraguayan harps, and I have a different style and flair on the harp. So
There's actually a Paraguayan harp festival that you went to,
yeah,
isn't
last
there?
year.
Yeah.
Last year they flew me. I went out to Paraguay, and I met the maker of my harps, Gustavo Arias. I'd never met him before.
Wow.
We'd always exchanged, communication on email or whatever, and he always talked me through the process of getting my harps handmade in their workshop.
So this is handmade.
This is not my Paraguayan harp.
Okay.
So I got this one to fly.
Right.
With the circus. They actually flew me on the rig. No, this is from Dusty Strings in Seattle, and I got this one. It's a bit smaller to carry around.
Yeah.
And it has the most glorious flight case, so I can. It's more practical now.
Yeah.
I'm just getting a smaller harp. Look, I'm not getting any younger, and I have my back, carrying the thing. So the Arts Council helped me to buy this one, actually, because my other one was very road worn.
Yes,
I'm very hard on harps.
Yeah.
I do a lot of stuff with them, and I travel a lot and I gig a lot.
Yeah.
I've earned all my money from harp for the last 30 years, so they worked very, very hard. So I have quite a high turnover of harps. Yeah.
That's amazing, amazing. Tell us about the new album. I know Donal O'Connor has been involved in this as well. He's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah, so I really wanted to work with Donal, and it was amazing. I felt like I really grew in the process, because when I went in the first day in the studio, I kind of had a really bad day in the studio, because I suddenly realised all my gigs have been comedy, and that's a different performance.
Yeah.
And it's less sort of intricate. When it felt like it was such a massive spotlight to go on the pure harping. And I really struggled. So I went away and practiced for about 6 weeks and got this new harp and came back in, and my tone had, I felt like I'd spaced things out. I understood how it evolved, and I put a lot of work into just like demonstrating my harping style. And that was the premise of making the album. I just wanted to celebrate the fact that actually I'm a harpist, and I have been playing for 30 years. I've never focused on my harping, but it was time to make a harp album, and that's it. That's what it is.
There we go. We have it right here.
Yeah.
What about gigs and stuff? Any coming up that we should know about?
So the Sound of Belfast is coming up, and I'm going to do a gig there I've joined a label, White Mountain Music.
Right.
That's Peter Fleming's. And actually Peter
and me and Peter go way back.
Oh, yeah, me too.
We go way back to the Schism days with Cara
Schism.
Dillon and people like that.
Peter did the PR for my second album, Spell.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen him since. And he's having a whole big revival of White Mountain Music, and he's got a big label going, and he's also got another sync company evolving off the back of that. So he's running a gig on the 15th of November. We will be in Accidental Theatre.
Brilliant.
And I am going to create a series of launches for the CD, but I haven't got that up yet, but I'm working on it. Yeah. And that's the first gig is with White Mountain Music on the 15th of November.
Brilliant. And if people want to get their hands on this, I suppose the best way to do it is go to your website.
Yeah, it's ursulaburns.co.uk, and if you Google in The Dangerous Harpist or anything, there's a link tree attached to everything, so everything brings you back to the album page.
Brilliant. Do you know what? It's great to have a physical CD as well, because I used to get hundreds of these sent to me every day on the radio. Now you don't get any.
I know.
You just get little MP3s and it's not the same.
It's not the same. And I was tempted not to, because it's the expense. These days you can just release online.
I know.
And it is very tempting to, because it's the finding the budget for that part of the process.
Exactly.
It's really challenging. And nothing's got cheaper. So but it was Donal. Donal was a great influence on me, and he said, "No, I want a physical CD," and I was like, "Okay, no problem," because Yeah.
Well, good luck with the CD.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in, and sure, we'll get you back again. Don't leave it 20 years next time.
No. You ask me, I'll be here.
Good to see you.
I've got a cloud truck. I can go anywhere at any time.
Still to come on the show this evening, we're talking festivals, and it's nearly that time of year again for the Belfast International Arts Festival. We'll be chatting to Festival Director Richard Wakely right after these.
Let the good times roll at Super Strikes at the Jet Centre. You can now book your lane online. We've got 14 bowling lanes and 4 mini bowling lanes. Plus we serve delicious hot food and snacks, or enjoy a cold beverage with your food after the game. Discover bowling today at the Jet Centre. Jet Centre, entertainment for everyone.
And welcome back to Robin Elliott tonight. Now it's that time of year again for the Belfast International Arts Festival. Richard Wakely dropped into the NVTV studios earlier on this week, and here's what happened. So it's that time of year once again. The Belfast International Arts Festival is back. It runs between the 16th of October and the 26th of November. As always, it's good to see Richard Wakely, and he joins us now to talk us through some of this year's highlights. How are you, sir?
Lovely to see you again, Robin. We only meet at this time of year.
We do, don't we? So
it's always good to see you.
Good to see you. So where are we? We're 62, are we now?
We are indeed. It's been going on an awfully long time. The worst thing about that statistic is that I'm older than the festival itself. I turned 65 this year. But yes, it's going a long time, but it has not lost any of its relevance, any of its energy, any of its meaning to the people of the city. So it's a privilege to be here talking about the programme to your viewers.
So we're running 5 weeks. Is that a bit longer than normal, is it?
It is indeed. And the main reason for that is because we've just taken the opportunity to celebrate with Ulster University the 175th anniversary of the Belfast School of Art. One of the most important art schools in these islands. We worked with many of the graduates that have come out, and there's a wonderful cohort of artists in the school studying at present. So we want to celebrate that and to promote it more widely to the public, the importance of the School of Art to the university and to the city.
Indeed, right. Lots of premieres and world premieres this year. The one that everybody's talking about, and I see it's even making national press as well, the tragedy of Richard III.
Well, it puts disability at centre stage. And we are a festival that celebrates diversity in our communities. And we work with a lot of artists who self-identify as disabled. And this particular production at the Lyric Theatre, which opens the festival, as I say, is a reimagining of the great Shakespeare story and puts disability centre stage. It's going to be terrific. And, you know, the Lyric Theatre is a wonderful theatre company, great productions, and I couldn't have wished for a better opening for the festival.
Tell us about Yerma as well, because that's going to be a big one too.
Well, absolutely. I mean, and it's also another local company. So it's the Great Tinderbox Theatre. And it's a new version of the Lorca Garcia play, the very famous classic Yerma. So that's in the Naughton studio. So the Lyric is a bit of a hub this year. On the main stage, we have Tragedy of Richard III. And in the Naughton studio, Yerma. So, you know, the Lyric is front and central to this year's festival.
Talking about local companies, Cahoots are always good at putting on something pretty spectacular. This year, it's the Vanishing Elephant.
Well, it really is spectacular. And what I should say to your viewers is the production opened last October in New York on Broadway, The Vanishing Elephant, and it was chosen by the New York Times as one of its critics' picks. So we're bringing the elephant home to Northern Ireland. It's a production about displacement. It's a production about our relationship to the natural world. It follows a story of an elephant, Janu, that travels to America. It's for all the family. It's a beautiful production. And once again, Cahoots have created that theatrical magic, which they're famous for, with great puppetry on stage. So you see the elephant go through 3 different iterations of its life, from baby through to full adult, done with wonderful puppeteering. It's a very moving, very beautiful story. And you know what? The New York Times were absolutely right. It was their critics' pick, and I would strongly recommend that people go and see it. It's at the Grand Opera House.
Brilliant. Okay, let's move on to dance productions, because we've suddenly discovered we have this amazing dance community here in Northern Ireland, don't we?
Well, and it's been here for a while, and I really should credit Maiden Voyage here and Nicola Curry, because without Maiden Voyage and Nicola Curry, there would be no dance community in Northern Ireland. They've been ploughing a very often lonely furrow for a very long time, but nurturing, promoting, developing dance makers within our own community. And we want to celebrate that. So we all know the great things that Una Doherty has done. And she's not in our festival this year, hopefully next year, and she's a former artist in residence. But who we do have is, for example, Helen Hall. And Helen Hall is our current artist in residence, and she's registered blind.
Right.
So I talk about disability, but it's very important that we demonstrate that commitment. And she's doing a wonderful production called Touch, Hear, Feel.
Wow.
For a mixed ability audience, and it's a site-specific work. It's a building that some people might know. It's not a theatre, it's a found space, we call it. It's 39 Corporation Street. It's quite an intimate piece for, as I say, mixed ability audiences. It's a more holistic approach to how we can and might engage with dance. So it does what it says in the tin.
Yeah.
There's a lot of touching of materials and textiles that might trigger memories, for example, for the audience. There's an audio description, but that's built into the soundscape.
Yes.
It's a beautiful piece of work from a wonderful artist. We also have a great double bill of dance movement work from Palestine. And it's been, as you can imagine, tricky to stage, to bring artists over from Palestine, but we're absolutely delighted and thrilled and privileged that they will be coming to us. And that's at the MAC. It's a double bill of a piece called, two pieces, one called Losing It, another called In Between. And it's that rare opportunity to see work from the Middle East.
Yeah.
And it is totally inspiring, very moving indeed, obviously. And it's a must-see.
Yeah. Let's move on to music. And when you talk about blues music legends, they don't come any bigger than Paul Jones. From Manfred Mann to all the great artists he's worked with over the years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and Paul is still going very strong. I got a note from him the day before yesterday, trying to get a meeting. Oh, I'm just so busy. I'm touring and I'm doing gigs right up to, when he's performing with us at 29th of October. The man's energy is astonishing. But you're right about that body of work. Yeah. And he is playing as part of a duet with the great Dave Kelly, one of these island's greatest blues musicians, great guitarist, slide guitarist. And they're also partnering in a very special collaboration with the Ulster Orchestra.
Right.
Really special. So we've got the orchestra on stage and they're doing several numbers together. And I don't want to forget in this that also as part of that great bill at the Opera House on Tuesday 29th of October is the wonderful Freddie White.
Yes, yeah.
He's one of the great balladeers from Ireland. So it's a sensational lineup. And it is quite unusual, I'd say, because the orchestra, our own very wonderful Ulster Orchestra, are also part of that lineup. And they will bring a very different tone and set of colours to those great blues and jazz classics.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've done music, we've done dance, we've done theatre. Any other highlights that we should definitely know about then?
Well, we're really lucky, Robin, that we have a wonderful lineup of authors and writers from across the world. And we have a wonderful literary manager in Alan Simpson. So I take no credit for this. He puts that programme strand together. There's so many great authors, but I want to mention Naomi Alderman. And probably to your viewers, she is the best-selling author of that programme, which has turned into a programme, The Power, on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
And she's talking about her new book, The Future. And she's at Ulster University early in the festival, so really worth seeing. But there's a host of great writers. David Peace is coming with his new book, Munich. We've got a wonderful set of writers coming from the Caribbean on the 17th of October at the Crescent Arts Centre. There really is something for everyone. I suppose the last couple of things one would want to say is visual arts.
Yes, yeah.
We talk about how we celebrate our own. Well, at this time, every year, the Royal Ulster Academy have their annual exhibition up at the Ulster Museum, and this year is no different. And the range and breadth and diversity of the work of the artists they put on, 100 plus artists, is quite astounding.
Yeah.
And whilst you're up in the Ulster Museum, please see another wonderful exhibition called Threads of Empowerment, Conflict Textiles. It's very moving. I suppose, takes its inspiration originally from the Asperillas, the textiles from South America, where communities, and particularly women, etched their stories of grief, of loss, onto these textile materials. And it is a terrific exhibition. And the Ulster Museum deserve huge credit in hosting that.
Yeah, brilliant. So 16th of October is the starting date. And I would imagine a lot of the events are going to sell pretty quickly. So get on and book the tickets right now.
Some have already sold out. I have to say, we're going to disappoint some people. So I'm sorry, the Neil Jordan event is completely sold out, for example. Yes. but there are many more worth looking at. And I'm going to give one last shout out.
Go on.
Because it is very special. We're one of the very few places in these islands to be able to host Les Amazons d'Afrique. We were talking about music earlier on. This is a band from Mali and West Africa, formed many years ago. Angelique Kidjo, I think, was one of the original members. But this band is the greatest, most joyous dance music that you've heard. It blends African rhythms and dance music with DJing. It is an explosion of joy and colour. Please just come along and leave all your worries and woes at the door and just get with the rhythm, get with the beat. It's going to be a fantastic evening. As always, it sounds like it's going to be a fabulous festival. Richard, great to see you as always. Thank you so much for having me, Robin. So that's all we have time for on the show this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all of my guests. And of course, a big thank you to the Malmaison Hotel here in Belfast. We'll see you back here same time next week. Bye-bye.